It's been another wild week of fishing along our coastline, from Snoek and Couta to Yellowfin, Tuna and Dorado to now the Garricks making their first appearances. It has been awesome.
There's so many species of winter fish, whether you're out for the cob or the shad or the possible Garrick, definitely the bronze bream.
There you go, buddy. Hit it now!
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green.
Hey, hello, brothers and sisters of angling. We are back with another great fishing report. Pretty much everything to get you in the zone because the winter fish has arrived. Oh man, it is looking absolutely amazing. We are talking about the first signs of Garrick that's come out over this week. We are also talking about some shad popping up all over the place, the cob noise all over the coastline, and apart from that, bronze bream season is here. Guys, the offshore fishing is going, well, it hasn't dropped, right? I mean, it's been consistent throughout, and that run continues despite all those challenging rough seas the guys that were out from. And as for the freshwater, we know to get out those fly rods because the trout are here. Yanni's happy, irrespective of how he's feeling. He's under the weather, but he's loving the weather conditions because it is bringing the fish right onto the bite. Guys, we are in for one action-packed show. Yes, it was a challenging week. It was a difficult week, but hey, it's the East Coast and we have got anglers that have found the fish. And apart from the anglers, we are talking about all the reporters who's had their ears on the ground to bring you this week's hottest fishing news. So before we get into it, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Kingfisher.
Meet the all-new Crossfire LT, redesigned to transform every cast into a moment worth remembering. With advanced air drive design, feel ultra-smooth, effortless rotation that is light, clean, and incredibly responsive. At its core, tough digigear delivers lasting durability and consistent power, cast after cast. The LC ABS spool boosts your casting distance while reducing line trouble, giving you total control on the water. And when the pressure's on, the ATD Type L drag system keeps things smooth, steady, and in your hands. Lightweight, strong, and reliable. The Crossfire LT available in sizes 1000, 2000, 3000C, and 4000C. Fish smarter, fish smoother, fish Crossfire LT. Available at tackle stores nationwide.
Thank you, the Kingfisher. The show could not be possible without you, and we are super grateful to have you bring us the news. All right, now, guys, let's get into it. Let's kick it off in my hometown with Mike V and Brad Krabler.
How's it, guys? Most of the oaks that fished all went looking for scratching fish. The bronze bream, your cob, quite a lot of rockcod came out. It was all that kind of light tackle fishing. The sea didn't play the game. It had really a lot of surge in it, a lot of force in the waves and things like that. So as far as I know, there was no big fish caught this weekend. There was one or two greys in the mix, but that was about it. It was mainly stumpies, bronze bream, rockcods, eeltail, catfish, things like that. That is what most of the oaks targeted this weekend. Saying that, some nice numbers of fish did come out. I heard of one rockcod was about 6 kilos. I heard of a bronze bream of 2.5. So some nice fish did come out on the beaches, but it was a completely edible catching weekend. On the paddle ski and ski boat side, the guys did get some nice Couta. They got some nice Snoek. There was a couple Gilbeck caught, some doggers. So the guys that are traveling, finding the cooler water, are getting some lovely bottoms. And those that are persevering on the top are getting some lovely Couta. I saw pick of one was 27 kilos. Absolutely beautiful fish. So the guys that are going out and putting it down, they're getting the bite. Durban Bay, very quiet. 1 kingy, 1 or 2 big eyes, 1 or 2 black tips, 1 or 2 small grunters, but that was about it. Not quite sure what happened this weekend, but it did go a little bit on the quiet side. Guys, this is Mike V for NSA News. Have a lovely week.
Good day, guys. Brad here from Linsky Fishing Charters. Guys, the fishing off of Durban over the last week. We've had some really, really nice weather out there, some nice flat seas. Been a bit of current running all over the place. But generally, the fishing has been pretty good. The keelback and dogger have started to make their appearances in a few more numbers than normal this time of year. Really good Englishmen have been coming out. And just in general on the bottom side, fishing has been great. You have to make as much hay as we can while the weather is still good. Up on the game fish side, there's still some Couta go. There were a couple of Dorado out to other ships area over the week, but no real fireworks on that sort of side. Up in the real deep, where I'm talking the 200-300 meter mark, there was a really good big tuna splashing around at that side. This is Brad for AD News South Africa, and Taka, and we'll speak to you guys all next week.
Thank you, Mike and Brad. Okay, so we've had tough conditions on that rock and surf side, but hey, there was still plenty of fish that were caught. The harbor did take a dip in form, but yeah, it's there. Nothing wrong with that. There is still some fish coming out of that. And as for that offshore, keelback and dogger salmon, you know that's definitely winter fish on the bite. So thank you, Mike and Brad. Always great to hear from you. Now, as we move out of Durban, we are going on to the North Coast. We are with Michaela Daniel. She is back in full form. She's back on the water. She's smashing the fish. And not just that, she's bringing us some really good fishing reports off the North Coast.
What's up, everyone? This is Michaela from Durban reporting for Angler News SA. It's been another wild week of fishing along our coastline, from Snoek and Couta to Yellowfin, Tuna and Dorado to now the Garricks making their first appearances. It has been awesome. And kicking things off, we're going to start at Blue Lagoon, where there's been some lovely Grunter and cobs coming out, while for the guys at Beachwood, there's still been some Shad coming out and Grunter around, but it's mainly still been the inedibles on the bites. Moving up to Virginia, the Shad are still coming out, as well as a couple of Grunter, while the Garrick also have started to make an appearance. For our Umhlanga anglers, there are a few Shad around, but the guys are still mainly getting into some sharks and rays. For Mploti, there's still Shad coming out in the early mornings of their usual scratching species throughout the day, while for the offshore side of things, Durban is still producing some Couta and Snoek, with a few Yellowfin tuna in the deep, while for the bottom side of things, there's been quite a few keelback coming out amongst the usual reds and rockcods, while for Mploti, however, there's still big Couta coming out with the shallower bait marks, and quite a few Dorado and Yellowfin tuna coming out from the deep. For the bottoms, however, the guys are still getting into some lovely Rockcod and now a few keelback. Moving right up the coast to Belito, there's still some lovely size Shad and cob coming out, while St. Lucia is still producing some lovely GTs, Rockcod, and speckled snappers. For the offshore side, Belito saw some big Couta and Yellowfin tuna come out over the past week, while for St. Lucia, it's still producing big Snoek, a few Couta, and a couple of Yellowfin tuna. That's going to be it from me for this week, guys. Tight lines and have a great one.
Thank you, Michaela. That is music to my ears. The Garrick are around. Oh, that's the first couple that is coming out. We are getting excited. You know, there's going to be live baits going out. There's going to be plugs being thrown. The guys are definitely going to be going out and giving us more reports of that Garrick coming out on the bite. I can't wait. I absolutely love it. All right. So that is our North Coast report. Now, sticking in the North Coast, news out of Tugela. Richard is talking about some cob and shad.
Greetings from Lobotes Ski Boat Club at Tugela Mouth, and this week's fishing report pretty much is all about cob, 3-2 snapper and shad. Shad in particular are coming out at Car Park 2, which is the lifeguard car park, all the way to the Lighthouse Rocks. And congratulations to Tian Costa, local fisherman, 6.5 kg dusky cob caught on a shad rig. It goes to show you that elevated bait up in the water is catching. He in particular was using tenderized chocker wrapped around a sardine topped-and-tailed fillet. And the newly formed sand bar before the mouth, fast water, is still delivering the lobotes, as demonstrated by Tugela Mouth family residents, Patrick and Jean-Pierre Delou, who managed to land between them a few 6 to 8 kg lobotes fish.
Thank you, Richard. What a great report coming out of your town. You're really getting us inspired to come out there for a visit. And you know what I think I'm going to do? And guys, please let me know your thoughts on this. If you are planning on doing the same, going out to get some cob on paddle tails. That's going to be some serious fun. I think spinning is on the cards at Tugela. Between the shad and the cob, yeah, just getting some spinning tackle and going out and having a great session out there. Oh, it's sounding really tempting. I hope it's going to get you going to do the same. All right, now that there is on our North Coast, let's move on up to the Midlands where, like I said, Jan was sounding a little bit ill, but he's loving the weather conditions because it is keeping the fish on the bite, especially on that fly side.
Hey there, guys. Looking at the level 8 weather warnings in the current forecast, and from the way that I sound, we can finally say that winter has a foot in the door. Along with late rains, there's some good snow forecast for the upper reaches of the Berg, which will provide some continued input to the rivers, which have been dropping fast. Not that this is a bad thing, as the stream fishing has really taken off over the past week or so, as conditions have consistently improved. So the snow melt will serve to keep the rivers from getting down to their bones in the long term over the typically dry winter period. So the proper cold snap ahead will also help to get still water temperatures down, and not a moment too soon as the winter stillwater event season gets into gear. The Moy and Bushman's rivers were the primary targets for the Natal Fly Fishers Club river anglers over the last week, with good numbers of brown trout in the 9 to 11 inch, that is 23 to 28 centimeter bracket, featuring in the returns, and with fish responding to a mix of top, dry and subsurface nymph patterns. No temperatures were reported, but waters were noted to be crystal clear, and especially in the upper reaches. In the current amenable river conditions, the yellowfish of the Mgani have been making themselves available, with some excellent fish in the 40 to 50 centimeter, that is 16 to 20 inch class, coming to hand. Still waters are coming alive as water temperatures cool and begin to dictate the trout's feeding habits. In the cooler weather, terrestrials are pretty much off the menu, and the fish turn to subsurface larder of minnows, frogs and tadpoles, and the remaining dragon and damselfly nymphs. The NFFC anglers have been out in force with a double-figure number of returns over the past week, and almost all featuring a number of fish in the 11 to 13 inch, that is 28 to 33 centimeter bracket, and with some bigger fish starting to show up in the 13 to 17 inch, that is 33 to 43 centimeter class, and also a couple of prime specimens in the 19 to 23 inch, that is 48 to 58 centimeter brackets. The winter class of 26 has begun. The water quality debate for the local Midlands bass waters continues. Following the cancellation of the annual Albert Falls Bass Classic last week after organisers raised concerns about possible pollution and declining fish stocks, Cincy Holdings has rejected claims that effluent inflow into Albert Falls Dam is compromising water quality. But this weekend sees the KZN Small Craft Bass League hold event 3 of their 2026 season down at Inanda Dam. We wish all anglers tight lines and look forward to reporting on this next week. Guys, as always, get out there and take advantage of conditions as they hold, and do stop in the Kingfisher Maritzburg for the best and tackle advice. This is Jan Korrebold reporting for Kingfisher and for Angling News South Africa.
Yeah, you beauty. Guys, I've got so much respect for our reporters. They are sick, they are ill, they're under the weather. Yo, you gotta hear Adam. This guy is got like razor blades going down his throat. But they still deliver the news. They still bring us such great content. So yeah, we got some help from the weather gods up at the Midlands. We are not complaining about it at all. The fish are still out there. It is such good news. And you know what? We'll continue trying those private dams for the bass. All right, so that's our freshwater report. Now let's move on back down to the south coast. We are with the mid-south, and this time it is Ray Thompson with a quick report of what's been going on.
It's the time of the year when those southwesterlies come through and just absolutely crunch our coastlines. However, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are looking very, very nice for fishing. So those would be the 3 days that I would concentrate on fishing. If I had a chance, like I said before, our summer fish have gone and our winter fish are on their way. That is the silver lining. Have some fun.
Thank you, Ray. Short, sweet, effective. Definitely getting poised for the weekend. Nothing wrong with that. All right, guys. So now for the lower south coast, we are with Adam Lyon, and he's got another detailed report of exactly what's going on. It's been tough. It's been challenging, but there's still been some fish.
Hey, Vinesh. Hi, my friend. I hope you're doing well, bud. And as always, and as per usual, all the listeners out there on East Coast Radio have had an epic week so far. Yes, guys, we do know that fishing's been a little bit topsy-turvy the last couple of days down on the south coast, and predominantly for the whole of the KZN coastline, and even a bit into the Eastern Cape. That ocean doing its backwash cycle where those waves are coming from the deep and just bringing all the muck and cuck to the front has not been great news, as we know. The swell was big. The sand is everywhere. It's brown all the way down, Vinesh. And it seems like predominantly the guys on the ski boats, even those who risked the biscuit to launch on those big swells, were rewarded, as we know, from Craig Tutton and Trevor Mosley getting themselves some bomber-sized tuna and a tag and release marlin. So really well done there, guys. Also just mentioning Rowan Irvin getting himself a beautiful kingy up in Sodwana on spearfishing. So nice to see the local boys catching some absolutely epic fish. Now, in terms of the rock and surf side of things, yeah, there's been 1 or 2 bomber-sized shad here and there. But at Blacktail, the Rockcod are definitely still on the bite when you can throw a bait and not have it just absolutely get trashed down the shoreline because the swells have been so bad or the sidewash has been epic. But the guys have been getting, there's still a bit of crayfish around as well, and a few cave bass, so nothing to really write home about. But the fish that have been on the bite, or the non-edible fish, is definitely been the sharks, the greys, couple of hammers, a few hounds have been absolutely wild, and especially those smaller greys and black tips have just been absolutely everywhere. You know, you throw a bait and boof, you're going to get one. Now, I don't know if you want to call them edibles, if that's your thing, you want to eat some shark meat, which a lot of people do, and I have tried it in the past. It is fairly decent, you know, especially if you boil it in milk or ammonia, as we know. That's your thing, 100%. They are down on the south coast. So hopefully things do change in the coming week, Vinesh. There's been a few small cobbies around, and the rivers are still kind of firing here and there. A couple of cylinders missing, but that doesn't mean you can't throw a bait. Otherwise, guys, stay safe, tight lines, and let's see those catches.
Thank you, Adam, man. Huge respect for you. I know you have been going on with this flu for like 2 weeks now. Hey, it's not a bad thing. You can't go and really fish, right? But you know what I love about this? It is positive. There is still something to look forward to. I guess that's what we always get from Adam. He is such a great ambassador to the South Coast. He's always delivering some positive content, even when the guys are struggling to get those rods bending. You know what? It's the South Coast. We know once they start getting onto that run, and those sardines are coming, the signs are there. Once they get onto that run, there's going to be no stopping him. He's going to run through for the next 6 months with positive, great reports out of there. All right, so guys, that's our KZN report for this week. The weather is looking great for the weekend. It is going to make up for what we lost out on last week. Like I said, the winter fish are here. Like our reporter said, there are so many species of winter fish, whether you're out for the cob or the shad or the possible Garrick, definitely the bronze bream. Those rock species are, well, certainly out there. I mean, so much rocker down the south coast. Guys, get out there and get fishing. This is the sign we were waiting for. This is the dawning of winter. There is no way we cannot go out there and get a feel of what we are in for the season. So, with that being said, until the next one.
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green. Find more episodes at ecr.co.za under podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Let's fish for the future.